Tonight on Sports Channel, head coach John Sprague and his Sarasota Riverview Rams return to the Class 5A state championship game after a year's absence. Riverview's offense has come to life in the state playoffs thanks to the explosive play of freshman halfback Sean Bain, who has gained 356 yards and scored 4 touchdowns in the last 2 weeks. At quarterback is All-American candidate Luke Bency, who has a great target in fullback Darrington Abner. And the Rams boast a powerful defense led by Steve Farr and Mike Fhsaa. Sarasota Riverview takes on Fort Walton Beach Choctawhatchee live from Daytona Beach next on Sports Channel. From the Daytona Beach Municipal Stadium in Daytona Beach, Florida, Sports Channel presents Florida High School Championship Football. Tonight it's the Class 5A Championship game between Sarasota Riverview and Fort Walton Beach Choctawhatchee. Hello everyone and welcome to Sports Channel's coverage of the Class 5A Championship game, Sarasota Riverview and Fort Walton Beach Choctawhatchee. I'm Larry Vittel along with my partner Jim Yarbrough. We're excited to be here to bring you this game between the final 2 teams in the largest classification in Class 5A. These are the big schools, and for Fort Walton Beach Choctawhatchee, it's always tough to make it out of the Panhandle and get to the state championship.
Well, Larry, the Panhandle's kind of dominated the 5A state championship over the years, and they're very proud of the way they play football up there. Take a look at how the Indians got here.
Middleburg, a 38-0 loser to Choctawhatchee. Then a tough game with Lake City, Columbia, a very fine team there. And then the defending champion, Bradenton Manatee, beaten by 21. That was a most impressive victory for Choctawhatchee to get a win like that over the defending champs from Manatee.
And Manatee, I believe, was #1 ranked in the state of Florida this year as well. And a powerful football club, a club that these Riverview Rams have played and lost to.
In fact, Riverview lost by 30 to Manatee earlier in the year, but Sarasota Riverview is playing much better football at the right time of the year. They're playing good at playoff time.
Well, they run that wishbone, and they know how to go north and south on that football field. And let's take a look at how the Rams got to the state championship.
A tough win over Palm Beach Lakes, then an easy win over Coconut Creek, as there was confusion up till Thursday of game day that week as to who would be playing in that round of the playoffs. Coconut Creek got there and got beaten, and then Miami Senior High School last week in the semifinals, 31-21 was the end result there. And today we have a couple of teams. Both teams like to run the ball, a little bit of option game. We're not going to see a lot of throwing tonight.
Yeah, the ball's not going to be in the air very much, Larry. They're very proud of the way they can go north and south. As I mentioned, the Rams run the wishbone, and the Indians run the veer. So they're going to put the ball on the ground, and what is controlled at the line of scrimmage is going to determine who wins this ball game.
Both coaches have said if they have to throw a lot, they're in a lot of trouble. We'll find out which coach has to put it in the air first when we return to Daytona Beach. It's the 5A championship game coming up next, right after these words on Sports Channel.
What's in a name? Well, everything. And in sports in America, no name means so much as the National. There's the National Championship, the National League, the National Title, the National Football League, the National Hockey League, National Collegiate Athletic Association. The Masters is at Augusta National. So the first all-sports daily newspaper is the National. I can hear a guy at a newsstand plunking down his 50 cents saying, "I'll have a National. Give me a National." Has a nice ring to it. Sounds like a winner.
The National Sports Daily, changing the way America reads sports.
Daytona Beach Municipal Stadium is the home for all 5 Florida High School Championship games this year for the second year in a row. That's the topic we'll be talking about at halftime when we get to that point in this ball game. But right now we're just moments away from kickoff. A beautiful night in Daytona Beach, 65 degrees, just not even a breeze at all. It's just a beautiful day, partly cloudy skies. We are starting to see the beginnings of some fog. I wonder if that might be a factor as we get to the fourth quarter of this ball game. Fort Walton Beach Choctawhatchee will be wearing the green jerseys with the white pants. You see number 85, Matt Herkamp, an outstanding kicker, will kick off to Sarasota Riverview. And deep for Riverview in the middle, Anthony Campbell. He is a freshman who has returned 4 kicks for touchdown. In addition to him, you have Sean Bain to the top of your screen, and to the bottom, defensive back Chris Swirls, an outstanding player for the Riverview team. But we are set to start the 5A championship game, and Herkamp drills it out of the end zone. Riverview will start at the 20, and Jim, no surprise with that one.
Well, the Indians very proud of their kicking game, and Herkamp is one of the finest kickers in the nation, much less the state of Florida, and he boomed that one out of the end zone.
Riverview on offense, led by Luke Bensey, considered by many to be the top quarterback prospect in the entire state of Florida. You see the backs and receivers. On the offensive line, Lance Mattis, the center, probably the best blocker for Riverview. Both teams run almost all the time. Riverview averages 7 passes a game. Choctawhatchee will throw 9. On the first play, Bensey keeps, is hit by the cornerback Lionel Fayard and gains about 4 yards on first down. Joe Smith also in on the stop, but Lionel Fayard came up and forced well on the outside. The Choctawhatchee defense up front, Smith, Schlatter, McLean, and Wolf. The linebacking core led by Steve Brazel, considered to be a definite Division I prospect. And in the secondary, the coach's son, Lionel Fayard Jr., outstanding corner, number 7, keep an eye on him. On second down, across Buck, there's Bain up the middle, across the 30, first down, Riverview at the 36.
One of the exceptional situations with Sean Bain is he's only a freshman, and how often does a freshman even start for a 5A ball club, much less be the star of one that's contending for a state championship? So you know this young man's got incredible ability, but he's going to be very dependent on his offensive lineman controlling that line.
Bain, a 5'10", 167-pounder, gets it again, gets a yard or 2 before he is knocked down. And on the tackle for Choctawhatchee, Steve Brazel, number 54.
Coach John Sprague was extremely complimentary of his senior quarterback, Luke Bensey. He gives him the option of checking off at the line of scrimmage, depending on what he sees the defense do in terms of a strength and weakness, point of attack.
And a flag is thrown. We're going to have a illegal procedure penalty, I believe, against the left tackle for Riverview. If you violate the neutral zone in lining up in high school, they don't wait for a false start. That's just illegal procedure.
Right. If you line up in it or you jump across, it's an immediate penalty, obviously, on offense, but also on defense if you jump in that neutral zone.
We have a dead ball encroachment on the offense. Still first down.
Dozier Allen, our official, giving us the call. The left tackle, number 74, Jason Delgado, violated that neutral zone. So Riverview has 2nd and 13. They go up the gut with their fullback. Darrington Abner gets it across the 44. It's knocked loose. He was knocked down. Turnover. Choctawhatchee has the ball.
Abner is busting wide loose right up the gut here, and the ball is knocked out just before his knee hit the ground. It was a good call and a big turnover, and now the Indians have excellent field position.
Steve Brazel on the recovery for Choctawhatchee, and they have the ball at the 44 of Riverview. They run the wing-back reverse with Lionel Fayard, and he gets down to the 40-yard line before he is tripped up. Chris Swirls and Clovis Jones in on the tackle for Sarasota Riverview. But right away, Choctawhatchee with a great scoring opportunity. Let's check out the Fort Walton Beach offense led by Jeff Peters, an excellent stable of running backs. And on the line, you see Brazel starts as the right guard and is probably the best blocker in addition to being one of their best defenders. Little crossbuck through the middle. Fighting his way through is Andre Bowie, and he gets down to about the 32-yard line. Andre Bowie, a 5'9", 168 senior, looked to be stopped at the line and fought his way through.
A lot of strength in that small body. As we mentioned, only 168 pounds, but he's got tremendous determination as he fights off an attempted tackle at the line of scrimmage and gets into the secondary.
97, Gerald Browning for Riverview had him, didn't lock him up. 1st and 10 at the 32-yard line. Again, they give the ball to Bowie, and this time the Riverview defense stops him for a big loss. Mike Fhsaa in there on the tackle along with others. The defense for Sarasota Riverview up front, Fhsaa, 55. Keep an eye on him. The linebacking core led by Browning and Fiorelli in the middle, and Farr also an excellent player. And in the secondary, Chris Swirls, very highly recruited free safety for Sarasota Riverview.
His brother played on the Ram team that competed for a 1988 state championship.
They go up the gut with the fullback, Pina, and there's not much there at all. Eric Peterson in on the stop for Riverview. helped out by Mike Fhsaa. And it brings up a 3rd down and long. We talk about teams that don't like to throw. And Choctawhatchee coach Lionel Fayard might have to throw here with 3rd and 14 at the 36.
Well, even though they run a double slot formation and actually most of the time have 4 wide receivers in the ball game, they would rather run the football out of that double wing set.
Well, let's see what they do here from the 36. They have a great field goal kicker. They may not need to get much further to be in the range of Herkamp. On 3rd down, back to throw is Peters. They got a screen left side. The pass is caught. Running left side, lots of running room. Flag on the play. Down near the 1st down is Paul Smith of Choctawhatchee. Let's check out the flag.
Chris World, Shadrack, penalty marker down.
It's a beautiful call by the Indians coach Lionel Fayard as he drops the screen pass on the Rams, but it looks like it's going to be for naught as there's a penalty on the play, but they really did a nice job getting that ball out to Paul Smith and broke it for a big gain, potentially had the 1st down, and as you mentioned, with their strong kicking game, they had a great opportunity to get points on the board.
Downfield blocking violation.
We have a clip on the run by the offense. Repeat down.
So it'll again be 3rd down. It'll be 15 yards from the spot of the foul. The foul was at the 29-yard line, so they'll move it back to the 44. It's still 3rd down.
You're not going to see a screen pass executed any better than this one is as Peters drops back, looks to the right, then drops the ball over to the left as he finds Paul Smith. And Smith in the open field does a nice job of moving down almost towards the 20-yard line.
On 3rd and long, they go deep over the middle. It's caught by Fayard short of the 1st down at the 26-yard line. Peters to Fayard for the 1st down. Swirls makes the tackle in the middle of the defense, and Chris Swirls has already been in on 3 hits. And Choctawhatchee will not get the 1st down, and they will try a field goal. As coming into the ball game for Choctawhatchee is Matt Herkamp. He is a senior, being very highly recruited, a tremendously strong leg. On the year, he's missed only 5 field goals. 4 of his misses have been from 56 yards or further out. The kick is plenty long enough. The kick is good. Matt Herkamp connects on the field goal for Fort Walton Beach Choctawhatchee. The Indians have the early lead in the Florida Class 5A championship game. 7 minutes, 25 seconds to go here in the 1st quarter. We'll return to Daytona. We'll stay right here. I'm sorry, my mistake. We'll keep it right here, but Jim Yarbrough, an important field goal for Herkamp for Choctawhatchee. They didn't let the opportunity get away from them.
Well, Coach Fayard said it's not unusual for them to pick up 9-12 points a ball game via the field goal in the strong kicking game. And what a weapon that is when you have a young man like Herkamp who can boom that football from almost midfield.
Well, that ended up being, officially, I think they'll mark it either a 42 or a 43-yarder, depending on where the official stats spot it. But Choctawhatchee has a 3-0 lead. It'll be the 2nd kickoff opportunity for Herkamp. Again, deep in the middle is Anthony Campbell. To the near side of your screen is Chris Swirls, the free safety, and up to the far side will be Sean Bain, that talented freshman running back, a senior and 2 freshmen, the 3 deep receivers, although with Herkamp it doesn't matter that often. He kicks it out of the end zone about 70% of the time.
You love to have a kicking game like this that you make the opponent start on his 20-yard line almost on every occasion.
Senior approaches the ball for Choctawhatchee. A low line drive. This will be returnable if they field it. Picked up and then dropped by Campbell. Going back for it is Bain at the 10. Bain looking for running room. Hit at the 10, trying to turn the corner. He won't. He's down at the 7-yard line. Excellent coverage for Choctawhatchee, led by Clint Allagood, a senior defensive back.
Well, this time the ball doesn't get in the end zone, but they must.
Senior approaches the ball for Choctawhatchee. A low line drive. This will be returnable if they field it. Picked up and then dropped by Campbell. Going back for it is Bain at the 10. Bain looking for running room. Hit at the 10, trying to turn the corner. He won't. He's down at the 7-yard line. Excellent coverage for Choctawhatchee, led by Clint Allagood, a senior defensive back.
Well, this time the ball doesn't get in the end zone, but they muff it and barely get outside their own 5-yard line. It's going to be terrible field position for the Rams with their second opportunity of the evening. On their first drive, they moved the ball with some success and then had the turnover. Let's see if that offensive line can make some things happen and get this wishbone moving.
From the 8-yard line, Riverview pinned in deep. Little cross buck inside Bernard Marshall, and he doesn't get anywhere. Knifing in on the tackle for Sarasota Riverview is Joe Smith, a defensive end. For Choctawhatchee, rather. I'm sorry.
Joe Smith doing an excellent job right there, penetrating the line of scrimmage and making the tackle in the Ram backfield.
Loss of 2. Second and a dozen for Riverview at their own 6-yard line. They have got to protect the football here. One receiver split out to the right. Benson is going to keep it. He gets to the 9, and then he is really racked up. Lionel Fayard in on the hit along with Chris Allagood.
Well, we're talking about Lionel Fayard Jr. Doing an excellent job for the Choctaw Indians on defense as we look at the Rams in their huddle. And what a thrill it must be for Choctaw head coach Lionel Fayard to have his son be the star of his team that's fighting for a state championship.
And he wants about another 30-so minutes of clock time of thrills coming his way on third down. Bensi rolling right, gets away from one tackler, still running, finds an open receiver, completes the pass downfield as the first down for Riverview. Fullback Darrington Abner with a big reception. Only the third of the year for Abner, but boy, it's the biggest of the year for him.
Yeah, hard to believe coming into this ball game, only 2 receptions after 13 ball games, and right here, Bensi's going to find him. Again, Bensi has the ability to throw the ball. They just choose not to. They want to emphasize their running game, but you better believe that Luke Bensi can throw it if they have to.
Action inside. Bain tries the middle, gets a couple or 3 yards for Riverview. Joe Smith in on the tackle. Called his name a couple of times, number 57 for Choctawhatchee. Second down. Call it about 8 yards to go. He just did get it across the 37-yard line. Luke Bensi, number 19, has passed for over 600 yards and run for over 500 for Riverview this season.
What that last pass completion did was give them some breathing room, get away from their own goal line, get away from being backed up to their own goal line.
Fullback Abner tries the middle, gets across the 40-yard line to about the 41. Again, Joe Smith is in on the tackle along with Steve Brazell.
You know, the Rams must feel a lot more comfortable now that they have a little bit of room to maneuver and run their standard wishbone attack. Sometimes you get very conservative when you're backed up near your own end zone, but now they're out just beyond their own 40-yard line.
First third down opportunity that looks like a running down. Third down and 4 for Riverview at the 41-yard line. Bensi on the option right will keep it. Splits the defenders, gets the first down up to the 49-yard line. Chris LeBaire on the stop for Choctawhatchee, but a nice run by Bensi for the first down.
And what he did was recognize the weak side of the defense and exploit it. Bensi checks off, runs the option to the right side because that's the weak side as the Indians were lined up. After the fake to the fullback, he finds running room to pick up the first down.
Riverview threatens to enter Choctawhatchee territory. Fort Walton Beach, Choctawhatchee leading 3-0, 4:10 to go in the first quarter. Up the middle, nothing there for Riverview. Jason Siegel on the carry. Siegel over 200 yards on the season. 5th leading ball carrier for this Riverview club. But the Choctaw defense was there.
You mentioned 5th leading ball carrier. That's one of the traits of a wishbone attack. They spread that ball around to a number of backs and try to keep fresh legs in there as much as possible.
On second down and 8. Cross buck with Bain, nothing there. Excellent tackle made by Adrian Wolf, number 65.
Adrian Wolf won the battle at the line of scrimmage right there. Wasn't blocked or avoided the block so quickly. He was in the backfield immediately.
This Choctawhatchee defense not very large. Wolf, 5'9 and a half, 187. He's a defensive end. Brian Schlatter next to him, 5'10, 181. He's a defensive tackle. We've mentioned Joe Smith. He's 6 foot tall, weighs 215. He's the moose on that defensive front. but they do have quickness.
And conversely, that Ram offense is very strong, very big and powerful.
And we may have another neutral zone violation by the Riverview offense as one of their linemen appeared to lean across the ball. It will be encroachment on Riverview. We'll move it back to the 46-yard line, and it'll give Sarasota Riverview a 3rd and 13.
We have a dead ball encroachment against City's offense. Repeat down.
3 minutes, 7 seconds to go in the first quarter from Daytona Beach, the 5A championship game on Sports Channel. We hope you're enjoying it wherever you're tuned in this evening. Luke Bensey fakes the draw, looking to throw, flares it out left side. He completes it to Abner, who gets it down to the 40-yard line, and depending on the spot, I think he's got the first down. Darrington Abner with another big 3rd down catch.
Again, coming into this ball game, Abner only had 2 receptions, but on this one drive alone, Luke Bensey drops the ball out to him for 2 key receptions in one drive. So that shows you, I think, that they're not playing their a common opponent tonight. They're playing someone that's given them a little bit more trouble running the ball, so they're going to have to resort to that pass on occasion.
The one thing about the fullback in the wishbone, you want to stop him when they fake it to the fullback through the line. You want to wrap him up and not let him get through. Timeout for a measurement, and Darrington Abner is short by a couple of inches.
Yeah,
he is just barely shy of the first down.
You don't run very good pass routes when you're laying on the ground, and that's an excellent point.
Let's watch that play again from a different angle and see how Abner got free.
It's a little bit of a bootleg action, and you see Bensey rolling out. And look at how he just lofts the ball up so easily. It just floats into Abner's arms.
Lionel Fayard, number 7, getting in there on the tackle and riding him backwards. 4th down and a couple of inches from inside the 41 of Choctawhatchee. John Sprague says, go for it. We can get that much real estate anytime we want. Don't be surprised if they go right behind their center, Mattis. In fact, Mattis is not covered on the line. Bensey can sneak it easily, and he does. They didn't cover the center, and whenever the quarterback sees that, he goes right behind the center and is guaranteed getting a yard.
Yeah, they were in the gaps, but not head up, nose up with the center. And again, this Ram offense is extremely large up front, and Bensey simply just took the quick snap from the center and inched forward to pick up that first down. This is a very impressive drive by the Rams. As you'll recall, they started near their own 5-yard line after muffing the kickoff of the Indians.
Darrington Abner along with Marshall and Siegel in the backfield. That'll be Marshall on the carry right side, and Bernard Marshall down to the 36-yard line, giving 4 on first down. We mentioned the size of the defensive front for Choctawhatchee not being very big. How about the size of the Riverview offensive line? Stepp at a tackle, 292. Flowers, the left guard, 234. The center is 230. The other guard, Dersch, registers in there at 240. This is a big offensive line, and they're asserting themselves on this drive.
And that's not unusual in today's high school football, especially at the 5A level. These kids are big and strong, lift weights in the off-season, and have tremendous coaching from the coaching staffs literally on a year-round basis.
Bernard Marshall running right side with a good gain down to the 31. 3rd down and a yard. Joe Smith, the defensive end, in on the stop. He's made 4 tackles here in the first quarter of this game. 1 minute, 20 seconds left in the first quarter. 3-0. Choctawhatchee leading Riverview as Choctaw was able to kick a field goal following a Riverview turnover. See what Riverview does 3rd and 1. Again, the center's not covered. Bensey goes with his fullback. Arrington hits, spins off, and lunges forward to the 29 and gets the first down. Darrington Abner with the first down for Riverview at the 29.
I tell you what, he met a wall of green at the line of scrimmage, too. The Indians really did an excellent job almost stopping this 3rd down conversion. Fullback didn't need much and really takes a big hit there at the line of scrimmage. I think that was Chris LeBaire on the tackle.
Linebacker for Choctawhatchee hit him the first time. Couldn't stop him. On first down, crossbuck left side. That's Sean Bain for a couple before he is knocked down. Tackle by Choctawhatchee made by Matt Huffman, a reserve linebacker, into the game. 29 seconds left in the quarter. Riverview's offense having to feel very comfortable and very confident right now. They've got a 2nd and 8 at the 28-yard line, but they have moved the ball starting at their own 8, and they had a 3rd and 12 from their own 6. Up the gut with the fullback, Darrington Abner to the 24-yard line, hanging on for dear life for the Choctawhatchee defense to make the stop. Number 77, Sean McCormick, a reserve defensive lineman. That is the end of the first quarter of the 5A championship game with our score. Choctawhatchee 3, Riverview nothing. We'll return to Daytona Beach after this timeout. You're watching Sports Channel. The broadcast rights to tonight's telecast have been granted to Sports Channel Florida by the Florida High School Activities Association solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any reproduction, retransmission, or other use of this program without the express written consent of Sports Channel Florida is prohibited. 3rd down and 4 from the 24-yard line. Riverview has Bensey on the keeper. Bensey to the 17 and another 1st down. Sarasota Riverview churning out a long drive against the Choctawhatchee defense.
Unofficially, I think that's the 4th first down of this drive over about 19 or 18 plays we have unofficially. Just a brilliant drive, and on this occasion, Bensey again finds a weakness at the line of scrimmage. I believe before the ball was snapped, checked off to the weak side and simply kept the ball himself after the fake. Just a beautiful, consistent drive by this Ram offense.
There's Bain up the middle of the 10, Bain to the 9-yard line. Give him 8 on 1st down. That is the 20th play of this drive, which started at the 8-yard line and has now consumed 83 yards.
And here's the freshman, Sean Bain, the young man that's got so much talent. A start and star for a 5A team the caliber of the Riverview Rams. What a career this young man has. And you know, Coach John Sprague is excited about having him back for 3 more years, but the Rams are threatening here. This is a tremendous drive, and they're about to culminate it in some points possibly.
2nd and 2 from the 9. Abner to the 6, maybe the 5. He's got a 1st and goal.
Larry, what's so impressive about this drive is a couple of things. The talent of the kids on the field, but the coaching. Because to go for this long on an attack without making mistakes, making things work is really a tribute to the Ram coaching staff and of course the kids on the field.
And you think about the 2 big 3rd down completions from Bensey to Abner. The only time they've thrown it was in 3rd and long, and they've connected both times.
And I think you saw what we called an All-American high school candidate making that happen.
Bensey gives to his running back. He fights his way down to the 7-yard line. That is Marshall. He's a junior. This team, their kick returners are freshmen, and their top running backs are all non-seniors. Bensey, the only key senior on the offense.
You got it. These kids are coming back next year. Some of the coaches for the Rams were thinking that this was probably the greatest coaching job Coach John Sprague had ever done in his 10 years at Riverview, because they really didn't expect to be that successful this year because they were so young. But here they are in the state championship finals of the 5A division in one of the most glorious high school football states in the nation.
Bensey on the keeper to the 2, and he's racked up shy of the goal line. Excellent open field tackle for Choctawhatchee by Larry Diamco, number 16, as he charged in from his safety spot and kept Bensey out of the end zone. Brings up 3rd down and goal. But Luke Bensey, tell you, with the arm he has, the size, and you see that running ability, you can see why college recruiters are calling John Sprague on a regular basis.
Yeah, Bensey 6'4", 201. He doesn't seem to have exceptional speed, but we understand he's a tremendous all-around athlete at Sarasota Riverview.
9:25 to go in the
athlete at Sarasota Riverview.
9:25 to go in the second quarter. 1st and goal. The fullback does not get in. They tried Abner, and he couldn't fight his way in. Choctawhatchee with Allagood in on the stop. They unpile. Grizel and Joe Smith also there.
And it's going to be 4th down.
4th and goal inside the 1. Is there any doubt that John Sprague is going to go for it?
I think you got to reward the kids with the chance. They've driven from near their own 5-yard line, and they're within inches of that goal line.
Sprague and his coaches are going to talk it over as they call timeout here on the field. See the head man heading out to the huddle. In the high school ranks, they can do that. They can go on out there and have their own little huddle, so he's I think, just going to give a pep talk to his offensive line about getting that last 2 feet. I don't think it'll be any great strategy session.
Yeah, I think it might be less than 2 feet. Actually, it might be inches, but he's going to try and raise the morale right there and get these kids at the line of scrimmage to get it done.
Mentioned Bensi, the only senior among their key offensive players. I do not mean to insult the linemen. Several of the linemen are seniors, and certainly they are keys to the offensive success. But when you look at the backs and receivers and you realize that Abner and Marshall and Bain are all returning next year, that's why John Sprague thinks next year's team is going to be better than this year's team. The fog is descending here in Daytona Beach. We're not yet at halftime, and already we see the haze below the lights, and it could be interesting come the fourth quarter.
And here's an interesting play right here, the biggest play of the ball game so far.
Abner gets it. Abner scores. Darrington Abner up the gut, touchdown Riverview.
Just a quick hit, but behind the center, Lance Madison, Brian Dersch, the offensive right guard. Quick hit to the fullback. All they needed was a foot, and the big fullback got it for him.
Number 9, Kenny Harnden in for the extra point. Harnden, an excellent kicker for Riverview, has connected on 40 extra points this year, along with 6 field goals. And he connects on that one with 8:55 to go in the first half of the Class 5A championship game. Sarasota Riverview a 7-3 lead over Choctawhatchee and Jim Yarbrough. Now the pressure falls on that Choctawhatchee offense. They have got to give their defensive teammates some rest.
Well, I'm so impressed with the balance of attack that the Rams showed on that very impressive drive, culminating in a touchdown. We talked about the talented quarterback who's able to drop the ball off when the running game is stalled, but then their bread and butter is that wishbone attack, and that was an extremely impressive drive. But the Choctaw Indians, I think, are capable of matching up with Riverview tonight, and this game will go right down to the wire.
That was an incredible drive by the Rams of Sarasota Riverview. They went a long way, and it took them a long time. And as a result, they have a 7-3 advantage. Riverview will kick off for the first time. There you see Riverview's kicker, Kenny Harnden. Kick is deep into the end zone. Fayard catches it, but you can't run it out of the end zone in high schools. So Lionel Fayard Jr. will head to the sideline, and the offense for Fort Walton Beach Choctawhatchee will come out to the field with the Choctaw Indians now trailing by a score of 7-3. We want to say hello to people in 2 areas watching tonight's game with a special vested interest. In Fort Walton Beach on Warner Cable, the fans of the Choctawhatchee Indians are tuned in, and in Sarasota on Channel 4 Storer Cable, they're watching Riverview, and we appreciate having you folks along. We'll try to give you a good one the rest of the way. Little cross buck inside to Andre Bowie, and he picks up 4 or 5 yards on first down. That is a scoring drive for the ages. Coaches dream about things like that, Jim.
I can't recall ever seeing a 22-play drive in my lifetime.
11 minutes and 9 seconds off the clock. You just don't do that to anybody. A tremendous piece of execution by Riverview. 8:23 to go in the half. Clock running. Give them 5 on first down. 2nd and 5 from the 25. A little bit of a reverse. Somehow getting free for Choctawhatchee is William Washington, but he is soon wrapped up for a loss of about 4 yards. In on the tackle for Riverview, number 42, Leon Wiggins.
Yeah, it's number 55 right there. Fhsaa, Mike Fhsaa breaking loose at the line of scrimmage. Fhsaa, an excellent linebacker.
Washington was able to shake Fhsaa, but couldn't shake the rest of the Ram defense. And we talked about Choctawhatchee needing to sustain a little something to give their defense a rest, and they have a 3rd and long. 3rd and 8 from the 22-yard line. Quick drop. Throws out to the right side, complete for a first down. James Marsh making the catch for Choctawhatchee, and the Indians have a first down at the 35.
Marsh, the split end, knew exactly what he had to do to pick up the first down. He runs down to the spot just beyond the yard marker, simply button hooks, and Peters gets the ball up to him, and Marsh almost shakes loose down the sideline for additional yardage, but Peters really did a nice job of getting the football to his wide receiver, James Marsh.
Watching Peters and Bensi, it makes you wonder a little why these coaches like to run so much. These are a couple of pretty talented quarterbacks. From the 35, 1st and 10 for Choctawhatchee. A little bit of a delay up the middle, and that only worked long enough until the Riverview defense swarmed in there. Thad Pina on the carry, but half the Riverview defense was there along with Eric Peterson, Mike Fhsaa, and others.
Well, to answer the question about the passing game, I don't think traditionally on a Friday night these teams line up with guys that can really shut them down. But tonight, both defenses in this state championship battle are capable of shutting the other guy down if he just wants to run it down their throat, so they're making them pass on occasion.
On the option, the pitch back has Paul Smith in the clear, and Smith across the 40 to the 43-yard line before he is stopped by Shad Rennick, the cornerback, but he's shy of a first down.
Well, they threaten up the middle, and then the quarterback keeps it, but then on this option attack, he finally pitches it to the wingback, Paul Smith, or slot back in this offense. Double slot formation, that's what you're going to see these Indians run. They can go left or right. Again, they check off at the line of scrimmage also.
3rd down and a long 3 from the 42. They need almost the 46. Little counteraction up the middle. Bowie may be shy of the first down. They mark him at the 45. That's going to be a couple of feet shy of the first down for Choctawhatchee. Andre Bowie, 5'9", 168, a senior, over 700 yards coming into this game. And let's see what the Indians are going to do. They send in the wide receiver Marsh with a play on 4th down and about a foot and a half, maybe 2 feet.
Well, this is a big surprise here in their own territory, 4th and 1, and they're going to go for it, trailing 7-3.
This is going to be very close. Peters on the sneak, got across the 45. The line judge on this side marking it almost exactly at the yard marker, and they are going to have to measure to figure this out. Big gamble by Lionel Fayard. Let's see where the ball is spotted. The officials have it inside the 46-yard line. This is going to be real close.
Yeah, I don't think if you're watching a Super Bowl or a national championship at one of the bowl games for a team in the second period to go for it, trailing 7-3 on their own 45-yard line. But Lionel Fayard had a lot of courage right there to make that call.
What do you see, Eagle Eye? I think he made it by 3 inches. Hey, 99 out of the way.
All right.
First down, he made it by half a football.
Well, Coach Fayard's breathing easier right now, I know that. And the quarterback sneak is good. Look at the blocking right there. Just tremendous job by Steve Brazil, the right guard, Jason Heineman, the center. And they got Mike Fhsaa on roller skates right there.
From the 46, first down Choctawhatchee, 5:13 to go in the half. 7-3 Riverview leads. They're going to throw on first down. Looking deep for Fayard, and Fayard cannot catch up with it. A couple of flags are thrown. They may call one or the other for cutting in front. You don't have to drill him. Shad Rennick was deep for Riverview, and let's see which way this interference call is going to go. Apparently it'll be against Fayard.
Well, it was inadvertent. I think Lionel Fayard was trying to find the football, and while he was looking up to try and find the football, he inadvertently bumped Shad Rennick. And I thought it was no harm, no foul, but they decided to throw the flag anyway.
They certainly did, and that'll be a big one against the offense of Choctawhatchee.
We have offensive pass interference, 15 yards, and loss of down.
That is excessively punitive.
Yeah, let's see if we can pick this up. He looks down for a moment. Maybe he did push him. Yeah, I think he does. Initially, I thought he was just bumping him inadvertently, but it looks like Lionel Fayard did give Rennick a little push there. Good call.
Try the middle and nothing doing at all. Pina on the carry. Hassab was there. And he had plenty of company.
What really hurt him was the loss of down there, too. They were...
That's a lot for that push, 15 yards and a down. I've never understood why offensive interference is the most punitive penalty in high school and in college football. Same thing.
Yeah, you get the yardage marked against you and you lose the down.
Personal foul's not that bad. Hit a guy in the head, just make sure the ball's not in the air. At the 31-yard line, third down and a bus ride. They have to get inside the Riverview 44, and now a flag is thrown from the back judge. That may be too much time. Normally will be. And it is. Delay of game. There's Dozier Allen, our referee. He's been somewhat busy here in the first half as the ball now back at the 26. They only need 30 yards.
We have a dead ball, delay of game on the offense.
What Choctaw needs to do on this third down is just try and pick up some reasonable yardage, give their punter a chance to at least punt them out of disastrous field position and make the Rams have a long way to score with only 4 minutes left in this second quarter. So they're not looking for a miracle here, I don't think. They just want to pick up some reasonable yardage.
Back to throw under pressure, and sacked is Jeff Peters. In on the rush for Riverview is Leon Wiggins.
Leon Wiggins, number 42, the defensive tackle, was going to have nothing of it. I think he suspected that the bomb or the pass was coming, so he just disregarded the run at the line of scrimmage. They tried to cut him, too, and you can't really cut a guy that talented on a drop-back pass, and Leon Wiggins simply ran around the cut block and sacked Peters for a big loss, and now they're going to be lucky to keep the Rams in their own territory with this punt.
Paul Smith, the punter for Choctawhatchee, gets off a pretty good one. Fielded at the 45. Campbell trying to find a seam or a corner and can't find either one. Excellent kick coverage for Choctawhatchee. Leading the coverage is Joe Smith, who's played very well on defense.
A beautiful punt and excellent coverage, and in fact the Rams are now on their own 40-yard line. But I thought that the probability was the Rams probably would have got that ball near midfield, but that was a beautiful punt and excellent coverage.
With the ball at the 40, 3:29 clock running to go in the first half. Riverview leading 7-3 over Choctawhatchee. Luke Bensey gives it to his fullback. Abner gets a couple. And the clock continues to run. That's one thing about taking advantage of field position late in this game. Neither one of these is really a quick strike offense unless they break a running clock.
But I think Bensey, having the extreme talent that he does, that they can convert this Ram offense in that direction, worst case scenario. But their bread and butter is the wishbone, handing the ball off to some talented running backs and letting Bensey carry it once in a while. He's the fourth leading rusher on this ball club.
Less than 3 minutes to go. On second down, Bensey has running room. He's stripped of the ball. Loose ball, and Choctawhatchee got it. A great tackle for Choctawhatchee. Stripped the ball from Luke Bensey and gives the Indians the ball in Riverview territory.
Matt Huffman, number 40. There you see Matt jogging off the field, comes up with a big turnover. Bensey gets stripped of the ball by
LeBaire.
LeBaire, was it? Number 37, Chris LeBaire. And Huffman ultimately picked it up.
Nice teamwork by those two, and Choctawhatchee at the Riverview 49. Cross buck inside, no running room in the middle of that Riverview defense, just a gain of a yard for Choctawhatchee. William Washington, the sophomore slot back, in on the carry. There you see Washington, little guy, number 6. He's all of 5'5" and 151 pounds.
Indians having no luck at all between the tackles. Their best offensive effort of the evening has been on the pitch to the outside on the options, but they're really not getting anything done between the tackles.
On the option, they pitch it to Smith. Paul Smith to the 45, looks for a block, runs into his man, and keeps fighting his way to about the 41-yard line, bringing up third down and 2 with 1:45 to go in the half.
This is the pitch I was talking about. They've had success here when they get the ball out on the pitch. Peters fakes like he's going to carry it, then simply pitches it out to the third option of the option attack, which is Paul Smith, and Smith battles forward, and they have it out to the third option of the option attack, which is Paul Smith, and Smith battles forward, and they have an excellent shot at picking up the first down.
Less than a minute and a half to go in the first half. 3rd down and 2. Fake is to the fullback. Peters trying to keep his balance. Lunges to the 40, but he's shy of the first down.
Just lost his balance. He did a beautiful job of faking to the fullback. Watch this fake to the fullback, and watch the Rams converge here. But Peters has the ball. Excellent blocking at the point of attack. He just stumbles. He loses his balance, and when the knee goes down, the ball is dead, and it's going to be marked right there. But Peters had the opportunity to get outside.
They gave him inside the 40. They are going to measure. I believe Choctawhatchee has already signaled they want timeout no matter how the measurement turns out, and it turns out that they're shy by about half a yard.
Well, if they went for it on their own 45, you know they're going for it on the Ram 40, as we see Coach Lionel Fayard in his 6th year as a head coach. He told me coming into this season he was only 25 and 25 at Choctawhatchee. So this has been a real pleasure for him to go 11 and 2 with this ball club.
On 4th down and very short, they got very little, but it might be enough. Peters on the keeper right behind Brazel, and I think he may have gotten it.
Peters on quarterback sneak.
Less than a minute left in this second quarter, and the Indians pick up a critical first down, and with their powerful kicking game, they're looking to get a minimum of 3. They'd like to get the touchdown, but I think Coach Fayard's thinking, let's get 3 points. Let's get what we can get. Let's get in field position to give our All-American kicker a chance to get 3 points for us.
He got it by the nose of the football. You saw right there. Just barely a first down. 57 seconds to go in the half. They are about 5 yards away from the range of Herkamp, who has missed 56 and 58 yarders. Only once has he missed from less than 50 yards out, and he has connected twice from 50. He has to get the ball about 5 more yards to have a 50-yard attempt. Peters looking deep, throws to Fayard at the 25. Lionel Fayard Jr. to the 20, and he's down to the 18-yard line. Steve Farr in on the plate, but a great connection from Peters to Fayard.
Oh, Lionel Fayard Jr. does a beautiful job here, getting down the sideline, finding the vacant area in the zone, and Jeff Peters really gets the ball out to Fayard, who hooks up. Now watch him juke to the inside here, pick up an additional 3 or 4 yards before the big defensive tackle, Fayard, is downfield to make the tackle. Excellent protection. Peters finding Lionel Fayard Jr., the coach's son, and what a ball game this kid's playing. His daddy played at Southern Mississippi, was an excellent ball player there in the late 60s.
There you see Junior. Exciting Stanley Cup action continues here. The National Hockey League. Home of the National Hockey League, of course, is Sports Channel. Coming your way on December 18th at 7:30. The Bruins in New Jersey to take on the Devils. 2 nights later, the Devils head down the road to Philadelphia to face the Flyers. And then on the 22nd, 1 week from tonight, the Blackhawks in St. Louis to take on the Blues at 8:30. Be sure to check your local listings for the availability of National Hockey League action in your area. The ball is at the 18-yard line. Lionel Fayard Jr. with a couple of receptions, good for 39 yards, and Choctawhatchee trailing by 3 with 40 seconds left. They still have 2 timeouts. 7-3 the score. They fake the reverse with Fayard. Looking over downfield, almost a touchdown, broken up at the last possible instant by Chris Swirls.
What a job Chris Swirls does. Just getting there, as you mentioned, Larry, at the last second. They do fake that reverse off that double wing attack. Peters drills the bullet downfield, but Swirls is right there to break up the play, and now the Indians are facing a 2nd and 10. Once again, Jeff Peters has the time. He's not been rushed when he has thrown the ball tonight. Just an excellent play in the secondary by the free safety.
2nd down and 10. Looking right corner, and his wide receiver fell down. Willie Gaucher made a move on a corner route, and he fell down. 3rd and 10.
Well, we have a fast track out there, or we did when the initial kickoff took place, but perhaps this mist and fog has made it a little slippery out there. But Gaucher simply fell down, and it was a timing route. Peters had thrown the ball on time, but there was no one there to get it. I think the defensive back fell down at the same time as well.
Saw the numbers on Jeff Peters. Peters averages throwing about 9 passes a game. Has thrown well tonight. 3rd down and 10. On the blitz, picked up by the fullback. They have a screen set up left side. Complete to the 10. Inside the 10 to about the 8-yard line is Andre Bowie. 20 seconds to go.
What a perfect time to call the screen, as the Rams were blitzing, but the blitz is picked up. Thad Pina, number 21, does a beautiful job picking up the blitz initially. Gives Peters the time to get the ball downfield to Bowie, and Bowie moves down almost near that first down marker, and we're looking at 17 seconds left in the second quarter. Coach Lionel Fayard looking on there in the green cap and the gray sweatshirt.
It's 4th down, less than a yard. He has 1 timeout remaining, 17 seconds left. It's a tough call because if you run for the first down, you have to use a timeout, then throw into the end zone, and I think they're going to make the decision to give Herkamp the chance to get his team within a point. 7-3, Riverview leads Choctawhatchee. Both offenses have played well. We talked at the start, we expected the offenses to dominate, but they have just taken so much time moving the ball that it's a low-scoring game anyway.
Well, what Choctaw has done is captivate, make the best of 2 turnovers. And here comes their second field goal attempt.
Herkamp drills it right down the middle, and with 13 seconds left in the first half, Matt Herkamp, number 85 for Choctawhatchee, has his second field goal of the evening. And the Indians are within a point against Sarasota Riverview. Our score now a 7-6 ball game. Sarasota Riverview, the one amazing drive, the 92-yarder that took 22 plays, 3 hours and 17 minutes, or at least it seemed that way to Lionel Fayard. And now Choctawhatchee with an excellent drive. They took advantage of the turnover, drove it about 30 yards or so to get in position for the Herkamp field goal, and both teams have to feel like they're right where they want to be at this stage. Riverview just up a point.
I think it's a coin flip as to which of these teams is the best. It's going to be all settled in the second half, but they're matching each other blow for blow out here this evening in this state championship ball game. 2 impressive offenses and 2 consistent defenses as well.
13 seconds left in the half. We'll see if Herkamp kicks it as far as he can like he normally does. What a boot. Watch that one sail 6 yards deep in the end zone. No return opportunity. We have not had a return opportunity yet in this ball game. Let's check out that drive. 49-yarder. They overcame that offensive pass interference and got the ball back, setting up the field goal by Herkamp. And Riverview now with 13 seconds left and a couple of timeouts. Do you bomb away and see what happens, or do you run one play and go to the locker room?
I think you probably run a play and go to the locker room.
You kneel down on your right knee at the 18-yard line and you call it a first half. So Riverview and Choctawhatchee will both head to the locker room. And Jim Yarbrough, as we were just talking about, both offenses have done well. They're taking a lot of time off the clock. And it's going to be an interesting situation for both coaches to decide what they're going to find fault in, because both teams have played well.
Well, what I like about this ball game is we're going to find out which team is the best, not necessarily which team is the worst. Both of them are playing very well, and both teams can be very proud of their effort in the first half. And there's not a lot of sloppy play by one team, not a lot of misfortune happening to one team that gets this far and then has misfortune on their doorstep. Both teams playing tremendous football, and this game's very much in doubt.
As the fog continues to creep in on Little Cat feet, we are ready to break for halftime. From Daytona Beach Municipal Stadium in Daytona, Florida, Sarasota Riverview by a point at halftime. You're watching Sports Channel. Well, there you see the press box here at Municipal Stadium in Daytona Beach, and below the press box level you see some of the 1,200 plus fans who trekked about 7 hours from Fort Walton Beach to be here with their Choctawhatchee Indians for this ball game. But the fourth quarter of this game could be very interesting. The fog level is now about 15 feet below the level of the lights, Jim, and if we see a key punt, the punt return man will lose sight of that ball somewhere before he has to try to field it.
Yeah, that's one of the tough jobs in football anyway, receiving a punt, especially if it's boomed high. But what was initially a mist has turned into a significant fog here. And we do believe by the time this ball game winds down in the fourth quarter, it's going to be tough for these kids to see. But as we look at Coach Lionel Fayard, again, these guys like to keep the ball on the ground, so they're going to hand it off if they can.
But it might favor a team with a lead late in the ball game, because if you have to put the ball in the air and the air is foggy, it could be difficult. Right now, I don't think it's a factor, but a half hour or so from now, we'll just have to wait and see. It has come down quite a bit just in the last 30 minutes alone. Fort Walton Beach, Choctawhatchee, Bradenton, Manatee was the team they had to beat to get here, and they beat them 35-14. As for Riverview, they had Miami Senior High School, a 31-21 victory. And as we look at the head coach of Sarasota Riverview, John Sprague, who is looking for his 82nd victory in 11 seasons, I don't know that there are that many adjustments. Both coaches have to be relatively pleased with the way their kids perform.
Well, I think real happy, actually. And we're talking about the Rams. They went on the road to beat Miami Senior in the Orange Bowl. And so they did not have an easy path to get here. Playing on the road, playing a talented Miami Senior ball club. Both these teams very evenly matched. And that's fun for us as football fans to see in a state championship battle.
Lionel Fayard walking the sideline as the captains for the two schools get set to meet at midfield. Somewhat of a reenactment of the coin toss, but Choctawhatchee will get the ball to start the second half, and we'll pop down to Dozier Allen and find out what the two teams are going to talk about as we get set for the start of the third quarter.
That was an outstanding first half. Let's make the second one just as well. Good sportsmanship. Y'all keep it clean and just like you did this time, and won't get one of those idiotic penalties that'll make you lose the ball game, okay? Okay, I believe it is your choice. Now you may receive, kick, or defend the goal. Receive, which goal do you want to defend?
Kick this way.
You want to kick this way, put your back this way. Yours here.
Choctawhatchee will get the ball to start the second half, and I want to echo the sentiments of Dozier Allen. You want this game won. You don't want a 15-yard penalty at the worst moment to decide who wins the state title.
Yeah, I thought those were some excellent words of wisdom to those kids, and they have played a very tough ball game, but it's been very clean. There's not been any of the extracurricular activities on either side of the line of scrimmage. They're just going at each other like the game of football was meant to be.
We have had a clip. We have had an offensive interference, but basically penalties have not been much of a factor. 35 yards against Choctawhatchee, 10 yards against Riverview last night in the 4A championship game, and we do want to pass along congratulations to all the state champions in Class 4A. Buchholz and Dillard way over 200 yards in penalties, but Gainesville Buchholz High School 14-0, the only perfect record in the state of Florida, and they won the state title last night 24-7.
My old teammate George Dean was the head coach of that Buchholz team. Congratulations, George.
In his first year at Buchholz, he goes 14-0, not too shabby. Kickoff into the end zone as usual. Every kickoff has gone into the end zone with one exception. That was the semi-squib job that was mishandled, and Riverview had to start at their own 8-yard line, and despite that, they went 92 yards for a score. So Choctawhatchee will be on offense as we start the second half. Jeff Peters, the quarterback for the Indians, had an excellent first half. 4 out of 6, 62 yards. The big completion to Fayard made it for an easy field goal to make it a 7-6 ball game.
And Peters is a junior and will be back to lead this Indian team next year.
But he won't have Fayard, he won't have Bowie, he won't have Keenum. On first down, he fakes the little wingback reverse, looking for his receiver. It's intercepted. Returning the ball is Chris Swirls to the 21-yard line before he is stopped. But Chris Swirls of Sarasota Riverview gives the Rams the ball at the Choctaw 21.
The first real mistake the Indians have made tonight, and it is possibly critical because they're so deep in their own territory. But Jeff Peters tries to get the ball to his number 24, Paul Smith. But instead, It's the Ram 24, Chris Swirls, who just cuts in front of Paul Smith and comes up with a beautiful interception. This Swirls at free safety is playing a tremendous ball game on defense.
Swirls broke up that pass to Smith that would have been a touchdown late in the first half. Bensey on the keeper from the 22 down to about the 17-yard line. They'll mark him down at the 18. It'll be 2nd down and 6. Luke Bensey, the quarterback for Riverview, also having a good first half of action, as he actually had to throw the ball twice. Riverview doesn't like to throw it at all, but Bensey, a talented kid, was 2 for 2 throwing it and also was able to run for some yardage.
He likes to carry that ball in one hand, though, it looks like on the option. He's going to perhaps have to take better care of it, or these Indians will strip him of it again. He's big and strong at 6'4", 201.
Bain runs through a tackle, fights his way down to the 15-yard line. Good hit by Adrian Wolf, but he couldn't stop him.
Adrian Wolf from the backside, showing excellent speed, running Bain down from behind. Watch at the bottom of your screen. Adrian Wolf will break through on the backside, makes the hit on the freshman Bain.
Sean Bain marked down inside the 15, close to the 14, where it'll be 3rd down and about 2.5 yards to go. Call it 3 officially. They need actually less than that. Bensey looks over the defense, decides which direction he wants to run the option. It'll be to the right. He goes with his fullback. And Darrington Abner pounds down to the 10 and a 1st down.
One of the things Coach Sprague had mentioned was that if his offensive line can move the Indians off that line of scrimmage, pick up 4 or 5 yards at a pop with their fullback, he thought they'd really be in good shape. And on that 3rd down, that's exactly what the Rams did. They moved people off the line of scrimmage simply on a dive to the fullback out of that wishbone attack.
From just outside the 10, they can get a 1st down without a touchdown, but Bain this time gets only a yard or 2. Again, Chris LeBaire along with Brian Schlatter on the stop, but LeBaire, number 37, playing a very good game for Choctawhatchee.
We've mentioned LeBaire's name often in the first half, and here in the second half, he's going to make another tackle.
8 tackles for LeBaire. He also stripped Bensey of the ball late in the first half, setting up the Choctawhatchee field goal. Riverview leads 7-6, 9:30 to go in the 3rd quarter. 2nd down. The fullback, Darrington Abner, doesn't even get to the 7-yard line. Again, the Choctawhatchee defense is there. Adrian Wolf with another stop. It's 3rd down and about 8 at the 8. There's only about 8 inches or so between the 1st down marker and the end zone.
This Choctaw defense really playing tough as we look at head coach John Sprague from Sarasota Riverview. But Choctaw doing a good job between the tackles, even though they're outmanned and outweighed at the line of scrimmage.
Bensey rolling right. He can run or throw. He'll keep it to the 5. He is stuck at the 4-yard line and goes down right there again. It's LeBaire in on the tackle for Choctawhatchee. An excellent open field tackle by that linebacker along with Allagood.
This is as good a hit as any football fan at any level will see all year long. Watch Chris LeBaire break on the quarterback right here, and a picture-perfect tackle as he lifts Bensey up, who weighs 201, and drives him backwards. Just a beautiful job, and getting help also from Clint Allagood, a defensive back.
Field goal attempt for Kenny Harnden. The ball is placed at the 10-yard line. It will be a 20-yard attempt with a sharp angle. The placement is down, the kick is up, and he kicks it right through the upright. So Kenny Harnden, who has had an excellent year of his own, connects on his 7th field goal of the season. And Sarasota Riverview, after the turnover at the 22-yard line, was able to edge it close enough for an easy field goal, and they now lead Choctawhatchee by 4.
Well, this is how the ball game opened, except the fortunes were reversed. On this, in this half, the Rams convert into a field goal after an early turnover. When the game began, the Indians converted an early turnover from the Rams into a field goal. So both these teams taking advantage of turnover situations when they're presented to them. And good teams do that, and it's nice to see these teams play so well. You know, take advantage of that when it's given to you.
8 minutes, 6 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. Still a lot of football to be played here at Daytona Beach. as the fog continues to creep closer and closer to the playing field. Set to kick off for Riverview is Herndon, who just connected on the three-pointer. Herndon's kick hits a one-hopper off Allagood, rolls into the end zone, and will be an immediate touchback. Even though it was touched in front of the goal line, it's a touchback. You can't run it out no matter what the circumstances of the ball entering the end zone. So Choctawhatchee will start at their own 20. A turnover at the 22 sets up Riverview, and it wasn't 92 yards or 22 plays, but it got them on the board again.
10-6 advantage for the Rams as Choctaw comes out for the second time in this third quarter to generate some offense.
Peters gives up the middle to Thad Pina, and Pina goes for about 4 yards through the middle of the Sarasota defense. Fhsaa in there on the tackle along with Gerald Browning.
I think the difference between these two offenses is that the Indians just haven't been able to come up with a big play to kind of get them 15 yards at a chunk, or a big, even a running play that would break loose a little bit. They're pounding away, but they're just not coming up with a big play on their offensive attack.
Timeout on the field. Gerald Browning has an injured right knee. Tried to hobble off the pain and stay in the game. And discretion now the better part of valor, as he has an injury in either the upper calf or lower knee area, and they're going to check him out pretty thoroughly. 7:37 to go. Browning, a good inside linebacker for this Riverview team, and they count on him to make a lot of tackles.
He's got some movement in his knee, and that's good to see.
Roll out those lazy, hazy, crazy days of December, folks. We are at the Gator Bowl in I've been to the Gator Bowl in Jacksonville where you couldn't see the field from the press box. We're not there yet, but Lionel Fayard might be a little cloudy for us a little bit later on. The medical staff continues to work on Browning. They help Browning to his feet, and he will jog off under his own power. Perhaps just a cramp up there in the upper part of the calf.
This weather looks like maybe the state championship of Oregon or Washington or something, not of the Sunshine State. Don't see fog like this move in that often.
Tell you one thing, I hope everybody's careful on the way home from Daytona Beach, because this can be nasty stuff to try to drive through. If you're driving all the way to Fort Walton Beach, get a hotel room. That'll be quite a haul. On the option, Peters keeps it. Peters gets back to the 25, and then he has run backwards in on the tackle for Riverview. Clovis Jones in on the play. Also helping out was Steve Farr.
And John Dodd, number 98, at defensive end, who's 6'3", 220. Good size on this Ram defense.
Lionel Fayard Jr. checks back into the lineup for Choctawhatchee. It'll be a 3rd and 5 from the 25. 10-6 ball game. Riverview leading inside 7 minutes to go, third quarter. Peters gets away from the pass rush. He's going to have a first down and more at the 33. Good open field stick by Matt Fiorelli, but not before Jeff Peters gets the first down for Choctawhatchee.
The Rams come with a blitz, and Peters feels the pressure, but there's no one outside. The contain breaks down, and once he escapes the grasp inside, there's no one on the outside because containment broke down, and Peters is able to move downfield, and Fiorelli finally makes the tackle.
Ball's marked at the 33-yard line. Making the option, instead he gives up the middle. Pina gets to the 36, and then again he is driven backwards. They unpile in the middle of the defense for Choctawhatchee, and there at the bottom of the pile, Leon Wiggins, number 42. Fhsaa also in on the play. Wiggins with his 6th tackle here in the ball game. Give him 3 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 7. Choctawhatchee, the option play has been their big gainer on the ground. This time a sweep on the wingback play, and Fayard gets about a yard, and that is it. Chris Swirls making another stop for that Riverview defense. He's got about 8 tackles, a broken up pass, an interception. He's having a heck of a game.
And watch the backside. Gerald Browning, number 97. Look at Browning hustle, the senior linebacker, 5'11", 217 pounds, but he can move, and he slows Fayard down by grabbing him from the back.
Mark it at the 37 where it'll be a third down and a long 6. They've got to get across the 43-yard line for a first down. Peters, quick step, throws it on the right side, almost intercepted. Intended for Fayard, but had that been picked off, Anthony Campbell would have had 6.
Anthony Campbell, the 9th grader who is so explosive on specialty teams, he almost went after that one. Both Indian receivers on the short side of the field broke down just beyond the yard marker to pick up the first down, and Campbell read that pass route and broke on the pass, but just wasn't able to come up with the interception, but he did a beautiful job.
Campbell back to receive the punt of Paul Smith. We'll see if the fog is a factor as Campbell goes looking for it. It hits, ricochets off him at the 25. He picks it up at the 18. He's going the wrong way, and he falls down at the 8. The ball hit him at the 25. 17 yards later, Riverview will go on offense, and folks, do not adjust your set. That haze is what we are seeing as it continues to get thicker and thicker here at Daytona Beach.
And the ball bounces because Campbell can't pick it out of the fog, and then he mishandles it, and now his momentum is taking him backwards, and he thinks he can reverse field and possibly come up with a big play, but he slips. And instead, he, as you mentioned, took a 17-yard loss from where he first touched the ball.
They mark the ball at the 7-yard line. Riverview goes on offense. Bensey with a little quarterback counter gets about 3 yards, and he is driven backwards by a host of Choctaw defenders led by Chris LeBaire as usual.
Either Luke Bensey went the wrong way or a couple of his Ram running backs went the wrong way, because that play broke down because of miscommunication.
When I went to high school, it was a heck of a lot more challenging to get a date with a cheerleader. They've got 36 of them here at Choctawhatchee. We only had 6. Of course, if we had 36, that would have just been another 30 rejections. Up the middle they go for about 5 yards to the 15-yard line. Darrington Abner on the carry. And now it's getting to the point where we can't see a whole lot from the press box.
What was that? Wasn't there a Monday night football game on where the fog rolled in? Playoff game, NFL playoff game.
Eagles and the Bears.
And the fog rolled in and really affected the outcome of that game. Actually, I think, did they call it for a while, or they
kept on playing? A little cross buck running left side, getting a first down is Bain across the 20 to the 21-yard line. Good, strong running by the freshman Sean Bain. Bain came into this game with 674 yards. He has gone over the 700-yard mark, and as we mentioned, just a puppy. He's a freshman. He has 3 more years ahead of him.
He and Anthony Campbell, number 81, what a freshman tandem on this Ram football team.
Inside 3.5 minutes to go, third quarter. Riverview leading Choctawhatchee 10-6 and on the move. The fullback Abner fights his way across the 25. Give him 6.
Darrington Abner coming into this ball game averaging 3.9 yards per carry, around 639 yards. The number 3 ball carrier in terms of total yardage on this Ram team. Sean Bain outgained him at 674, and Bernard Marshall had 657 yards. But they're really giving the ball to Abner tonight.
Second down, call it 6. They mark him at the 27-yard line. Bensey on the keeper, and he's going to get a yard or 2 before he is racked up on the play by Brian Schlatter. Can't see the press box anymore, and we can't see the field so good. The fog becoming very much of a factor, and as we talked about at halftime, Jim, come from behind football is going to be a lot tougher. If someone has to put it up in the air, it's really just going to be a crapshoot as far as trying to get anything going with that type of attack. Bain on the counter, across the 30 to the 31, close to the 32, close to a first down.
But close doesn't count this deep in your own territory, and I think you're going to see the Rams punt this ball away. I'd be very surprised if they were to go for it here so deep in their own territory, only leading 10-6. And Choctaw defense, let's tip your hat to these Indians on defense. They're doing a nice job here of shutting down a powerful wishbone attack.
Chris LeBert, number 37, playing as an inside backer with a dozen tackles already in this game for Choctawhatchee. That time, however, he could not stop Bain shy of the first down. The ball is at the 32, 1st and 10 for Riverview. 1:57 to go in the third quarter, 10-6 ball game. And the Fog is becoming as big a story as these two outstanding high school football teams, maybe bigger. Bensick gives up the middle, and Abner fights his way to the 38. Good, strong running by the fullback. He is just a junior, 6'1", 220. We've seen his good hands. We've seen him running with authority.
You don't see major college fullbacks any bigger than this at 6'1" and 220. Abner only a junior, and he really shows some excellent line drive here. Simply on the fullback dive, the first option of that wishbone attack. And when you got a big, strong fullback like Abner and you got a 10-6 lead, why not keep working him?
Little misdirection and stopped short of the line of scrimmage. Bernard Marshall, he thought he had some running room, but in there to make a play for Choctawhatchee, among others, was Chris Allagood and Chris LeBert. 37 is LeBert, 28 is Allagood.
These kids are really popping each other. We talked about what a clean game this is, but it's really physical. They're really going after each other.
Ball is at the 37. He lost a yard or two. 3rd down and about 5. Bentley rolling left, looking to throw. He throws somewhere, and maybe it was caught, maybe it wasn't. It might have been intercepted. Who got it? Choctawhatchee, Lionel Fayard Jr. with the interception. Why would you put the ball up in the air now? It is absolute disaster for Riverview.
Well, Bency does get outside, but Lionel Fayard Jr., the coach's outstanding senior, comes up with the interception.
8 interceptions for Fayard. And Choctawhatchee has the ball at their own 49. Little counteraction, Fayard up the middle to the 48 of Riverview. Give him 3, it'll be 2nd down and 7, and that will be the final play of the third quarter of the Florida High School Activities Association Class 5A championship game. Sarasota Riverview has added to a 1-point halftime lead with a field goal, but we have a 4-point game with 12 minutes to go. Back with the fourth quarter of this championship game after this timeout. You're watching Sports Channel. From Daytona Beach Municipal Stadium in London, England, we are excited to be bringing you the Florida Class 5A championship game, the Fog Bowl, 10-6 Riverview. As we begin the fourth quarter, Choctawhatchee ball 2nd and 7. We've had a bit of a break in the fog. We can actually see the field again. Up the middle, Thad Pina on the carry. He fights his way shy of the 45. It'll bring up 3rd down and a long 4 for the Indians of Choctawhatchee.
And one of the most impressive Indians this evening has been the coach's son, Lionel Fayard Jr. And Larry, and I say that because how often do you see a kid in 5A play both ways? It doesn't happen very often, especially on a team that's good enough to battle for a state championship. And he's just playing a whale of a game on offense and defense. There you see number 7, Lionel Fayard Jr.
On the option right side, Peters keeps to about the 43-yard line. He is going to be 2 yards shy of a 1st down. And in this situation, I suspect they may go ahead and go for it.
Yeah, they just need a little bit more yardage to get in Herkamp's range for a field goal. Matt Herkamp is, again, one of the best kickers in the country, and as you see Peters trying to get outside there, they just need to move that ball about 20 more yards, and they can get another 3 points at a minimum.
Eric Peterson down on the field, perhaps another guy having a little cramping problem above in the upper part of his right calf. We saw that earlier with a player for the Riverview Rams, and now another player down on the field. Ball at the 43-yard line. It'll be 4th down and about pretty much right at 2 yards to go for Choctawhatchee. We are fortunate to have gotten a break in the fog, and right now it appears that the conditions will be much better for the remaining part of this game. We'll see how it goes. They help Peterson to his feet, and he appears to be okay as he heads to the sideline. Let's watch it happen. You see 99 Peterson.
Eric Peterson, the senior, just rolls over on his legs, and then the pile lands on top of him. I think it was just some bumps and bruises and a bit of a sprain.
Fourth down and 2 from the 43-yard line. On the option, Peters breaks the tackle, gets the first down to the 39-yard line. Chris Swirls, who has played such a good game, had him short, couldn't wrap him up.
Chris Swirls did make the big hit on Peters, but Peters immediately turned away from him. Look at the fake to the fullback, which was excellent. Then Swirls tries to make the big hit, but Peters anticipates the hit. Watch him anticipate the hit and spin off, knowing what he needs to get the first down. He knew he just needed a little bit to get that first down yardage.
Ball at the 39, little cross buck to Bowie. Andre Bowie gets 3 yards to the 36-yard line. It'll be second down and 7, 10:30 to go in the game. Riverview leading by 4, but Choctawhatchee driving.
This Bowie's more of your traditional scat back. He plays in that double wing at the wing back position, and inside reverse there to the little guy, and he was able to pick up some good yardage.
Choctawhatchee sends 2 receivers split out wide. They do not use a tight end. Back to throw, throwing deep. It's a jump ball and it's out of bounds. Back defending was Campbell. Louis Gaucher, the intended receiver, neither had a chance as the ball faded out of bounds. Leon Wiggins with a good pass rush here from Riverview. Watch him come in.
Really the first mental mistake that Jeff Peters has made all night long. They haven't thrown the ball that often, but he really shouldn't have thrown that one, but maybe he realized he was just throwing it out of bounds and wasn't worried about it, but he got that one up in the air.
3rd and 7 from the 36. Lots of running room for Peters inside the 30, down to the 27-yard line of Riverview. Jeff Peters with a first down.
Jeff Peters really making this veer attack work. The Rams jump all over the fullback, Thad Pina. Peters takes it out of his belly and moves down the line of scrimmage, and there's nobody there till he hits the free safety, Chris Swirls.
And mark him at the 26-yard line with a first down, 9:39 to go. They go with Bowie, who stutters through the line and gets to about the 22, give him 4 on first down. Swirls in on the tackle along with Fhsaa. Chris Swirls now with 9 tackles in this ball game.
Seems like 19, as much as we call his name. Here's that inside reverse to the little scat back Bowie. We've seen it 2 times in the last 4 or 5 plays.
On second down. That time they wrapped up Peters quickly. Excellent pursuit from Gerald Browning, who's obviously not too seriously injured. He was the first man to go off for Riverview. Stopped him for a loss. It'll be 3rd down and about 6. There's the Eric Peterson also back in the lineup.
Boy, both these defenses are really making the opponent's offense work, aren't they? They're making you earn everything you get.
8 minutes, 35 seconds to go in the game. They have to get down to the 16-yard line for a first down. Peters tries the middle with Pina, and he gets inside the 20, right down the middle, and he got about half of what they needed. It'll be 4th down and a long 3.
John Dodd on the tackle.
With 8 minutes and 17 seconds to go. Apparently it's not her camp time. They're going to go for it as Casey Nelson, a wide receiver, goes into the lineup for Choctawhatchee. They need to get almost to the 16-yard line. Not quite to the 16 for the first down. They need almost 4.
Well, this is a very surprising call with this much to go and having such a good kicker and only being down by 4. If you'd made the field goal, you'd only be down by 1.
That's the Fayard, first down inside the 10 and out of bounds at the 7-yard line. Lionel Fayard with another big play for Choctawhatchee.
What a gutsy call on 4th down again. The percentages are to go for the field goal, but they call Peters to get the ball to Lionel Fayard, and maybe the coach knows what his son can do more than anybody else, and he continues to keep this drive alive by scooting out into the flat. They had a receiver running deep and allowed Bayer to get open.
First and goal at the 6. Bowie gets at least half of it as he's inside the 3-yard line. In on the tackle for Riverview, John Dodd. But it's second down and goal from inside the 3-yard line for Fort Walton Beach Choctawhatchee. 7 minutes, 25 seconds to go in the game. Choctawhatchee down by 4.
On that 4th down conversion, Jeff Peters was really rushed as well. Did a beautiful job of getting that ball off.
On second down, Peters, quick throw, wide open. Somebody's defense was all confused, and Brad Davis scores for Choctawhatchee.
Nobody's covering him. The quarterback sees it, audibles immediately, and just dumps the ball out to Brad Davis. It was simply a breakdown, a mental mistake. One of the few we've seen any team make tonight, but just a breakdown on the defensive coverage. Nobody out there. Brad Davis catches the gimme.
Boy, talk about a gimme. He was lonely out there. Guys in solitary confinement that have people closer by to talk to.
And this was after the fog had lifted, too. He didn't sneak out there. I mean, he was standing out there, and no one was within 15 or 20 yards of it.
7:10 left on the clock. Choctawhatchee brings in their kicker, Matt Herkamp, to try to make it a 3-point lead. Herkamp is perfect. That ball also goes about 35 yards beyond the goalpost. What a great leg he has, and somebody is going to sign themselves a fine kicker as Lionel Sayers, the head coach of Fort Walton Beach Choctawhatchee. You mentioned they were a 500 club coming into this year, but they are now 7.5 minutes from the state title.
This is a check off at the line of scrimmage. Look, there's no one out there. Peters audibled and dumps the ball out to Brad Davis, and the only guy near him is an official. But the surprising thing in this drive, Stu, I can't speak, still is going for it. I'm surprised they went for it on that 4th down conversion. 4th and a healthy 4. Especially when your kicking game is so strong like that. You know, why not go ahead, take the field goal, you trail 10-9, but it's irrelevant. They turned it into a big touchdown.
John Sprague wishes that they had kicked the field goal. He would have a 1-point lead. Instead, down 7. They're down 3 points with 7:10 to go. Outstanding drive by Choctawhatchee. 49 yards over a dozen plays. They ran a lot of clock, and they also took the lead.
And it was after a turnover. Recalled it was the interception by Fayard Jr.
What a game he has played. We probably don't pick a player of the game, but I suspect we're going to anyhow. Coach Fayard Jr. has done a great job. Fielded at the goal line by Campbell. Campbell's got a haul across the 20 to about the 26-yard line. You saw him standing with his feet outside the end zone. He wanted to return it so bad.
That's the key. You could tell that kid wanted the ball. He just had his heels an inch outside the goal line, knowing that if the ball would come to him, look at that, he could run. He wants that football, and this kid's a freshman. He's got 4 touchdowns via specialty teams during the year, and he breaks out across the 25-yard line.
Only problem with that is if you catch the ball and slip and fall on your wallet, you could have given yourself a safety. As it is from the 26, Benzie, a little quarterback counter. Second time they've run that play, and this time they get 5 yards out of it.
6:42 left to go in this state championship ball game with the Choctaw Indians leading the Riverview Rams 13-10. And this is a very important drive here for this Wishbone offense as we see their leader, Benzie, carrying the ball himself on that play.
See Luke Benzie, 12 runs for 46 yards. He's also hit a couple of passes. It's now clear. Just a little trace of fog at one end zone. Up the middle, lots of running room for Siegel. Siegel across the 40 to the 43 has the first down before Allagood makes the stop for Choctawhatchee along with cornerback Toreno Power.
Well, this is the kind of dominance that the Riverview Rams showed all year with this Wishbone attack. But playing in this state championship battle against the Choctaw Indians, they've just not been able to break that Wishbone loose that often. but Siegel really busted through on that one. Only 2 carries tonight for 14 yards, the biggest carry, obviously, of the night for him on that prior play.
9 tackles for Chris Allagood, who did not start. Up the middle they go with Darrington Abner, and he gets about 2 yards, maybe 2.5. 5 minutes, 40 seconds left in this game. Riverview trailing Choctawhatchee by 3. If this game ends in a tie, there is no playoff, but they are co-champions.
Well, that's unusual, isn't it? Because at every level before they get here, they have that Kansas tiebreaker, and they break so many hearts around the state when the kids don't get to play, but then in the state championship. Well, maybe that's the idea. They don't want to break anybody's heart and let both teams be the winner.
On second down, a little cross-buck with Siegel. He gets to the 46, and that is all. Excellent tackle made by Adrian Wolf.
Well, Choctaw gives up a little yardage, and they shut down 2 plays in succession. Excellent defense by that Choctaw Indian defense.
Inside 5 minutes to go in the game. Third down for Riverview. They need to get it to the 47 of Choctawhatchee.
Gigantic third down.
They need a full 7 yards. They've thrown to the fullback before in this situation. Now they give it to Bain, and Bain is stopped at the 48. He'll be a yard shy of the first down. It'll bring up 4th and 1.
Knee went down just a little short of that first down marker. He had some running room there, Bain did.
Bobby Calforzi will go in with the play on 4th and 1.
The freshman, Sean Bain, finds a pull-off tackle and just a little short of the first down marker. 4th and a yard.
4 minutes to go in the game. Luke Bensley, the center, is not covered. Will he take it himself again? No, he calls timeout. They didn't cover the center. I thought Bensley might just sneak it for the yard, but instead he calls time with 3:55 to play.
And he was trying to draw the Choctaw defense off also. As we mentioned, in high school football, if you just enter that neutral zone, it would have been a penalty.
We invite you to tune in to Sports Channel to follow the Miami Heat. Upcoming Heat basketball here on the 19th at 7:30. The New York Knicks will be in the Miami Arena. 2 nights later, Charles Barkley and the 76ers visit the Heat. And then on the 23rd, 2 nights before the big guy comes trucking down the chimney, it'll be the Utah Jazz in Miami to take on the Heat. All the games are at 7:30. Be sure to check your local listings for the availability of Miami Heat basketball in your area. Along with Jim Yarbrough, Larry Vittel with you from Daytona Municipal Stadium. 3:55 to go, 4th down and a yard. Got tight end on the right side. Bensley gives it to Abner, who fights his way to the 46. First down, Riverview.
Fighting was the descriptive word right there. I think they had him short of the first down marker on the initial hit, but he twisted, actually did a 360, I think, and fought his way forward to pick up the first down. Watch Darrington Abner, the fullback, the dive back in this wishbone attack. Almost loses the football, but twists and turns, picks up the first down, and maintains possession. And guess who he was hit by?
Chris LeBert, 14 tackles on the game. Riverview doing a great job on the ground, as you would expect. Bain breaks a couple of tackles, still on his feet, drops the football. Choctaw got it. Sean Bain fighting for extra yardage, had it knocked loose, and the Indians at Choctawhatchee have the ball with 3:25 to go.
And we think it's Steve Brazil, number 54, or possibly Joe Smith, number 57, who picks up the ball.
Brazil knocked it loose, and I think Smith recovered it.
But Bain, with the extra effort, right here, twists free, and now another extra effort, and finally stripped loose of the ball. And it's Choctaw with the turnover.
Joe Smith with the recovery. Toreno Coward, the corner, number 4. Knocked it loose. Up the middle they go. No gain at all.
3:12, 3:11 left in this ball game. Now this Ram defense has to stiffen and get that ball back.
Remember, if Riverview can force a punt, they have Anthony Campbell, who has 4 kick returns for touchdowns. But Choctawhatchee is going to take their time between plays. 2:50 clock running. That young man has had an outstanding game for Choctawhatchee, Joe Smith. Second down and 9. Oh, they didn't get the play off in time.
Well, I think the center was in illegal procedure there, Larry. I think he moved before he snapped the ball. There was a hesitation at the line of scrimmage.
And in a way, that's a benefit for Choctawhatchee. They'll lose 5 yards, but I believe they will start the clock after the play since it was not a delay of game. We'll see. I think the clock starts again. 2:39 to go. Let's see what happens after they mark it off. They put the ball back at the 35.
Have a dead ball, snap infraction against the offense. Repeat down.
We will repeat the down. It's second down back at the 34.
Come on, baby.
And they do start the clock. Choctawhatchee ought to wait 20 seconds before snapping it.
That's right.
They snapped it right away.
I don't know why there's such a hurry.
Bowie on the sweep is wrapped up after a short gain. Andre Bowie running right side. Eric Peterson in on the stop along with Shad Rennick. But it's going to bring up third down and very long with 2:20 to go in the game.
Now, the Choctaw Indians could have milked that clock a lot right there because, as you mentioned, the official did start the clock, and then they snapped it about 2 seconds later.
You've got 30, I believe, to get the play off. So that's 28 seconds more that they could have taken off the clock. Now there's 2 minutes to go. Riverview with 2 timeouts remaining. They used one to set up that fourth down play. On third down, Peters keeps and is stopped for no gain.
And the Rams defense does what they have to do, and they call the timeout.
1:52 left in the game. Choctawhatchee will have to punt, and they will ask their defense to stop Riverview one more time.
And they'll probably try and return this punt with the talented Anthony Campbell, the freshman that we've been bragging about. Let him get a chance to get his hands on the ball rather than go for it.
Fort Walton Beach, Choctawhatchee 13, Sarasota Riverview 10. We are in the fourth quarter of the 5A championship game in Daytona Beach. The fog was a big factor in the third quarter, not as much of one now, although a high punt will again disappear, I believe, into this foggy air at Municipal Stadium. Coach Lionel Fayette talking to his team is punter Paul Smith. Now if you're Riverview, you have to decide, do you go after the punter or do you try to set up Campbell?
And I think they'll probably decide to set up Campbell since he's so talented.
Campbell going back. He's only had a couple of return opportunities in this game. All the kickoffs have gone out of the end zone, and the teams have not had to punt very often.
Well, he's got 10 teammates up near the line of scrimmage. They're going to try and slow down the coverage.
All 10 come after the punt. A good kick, a high hanger. Down to about the 23-yard line. There's no blocking at all for Campbell. He stutters up for a couple of minutes, swarmed out of bounds at the 28-yard line. So Riverview will have the ball with 1 minute 40 seconds left in the contest. They'll have the ball right around their own 27 or 28-yard line, and they have a long way to go. A field goal to tie it and be co-state champs. A touchdown to win the title outright.
Paul Smith, what a beautiful booming punt. The talented wide receiver, number 24, just does a great job on this punt. And the Rams have no success at all as Campbell is inside his 20 by the time he receives the punt, and then the Indians are all over him.
An injured player on the far side of the field about 4 yards out of bounds.
It might be Anthony Campbell.
I believe it is. He was hit about 6 times on the way down as Choctawhatchee had excellent coverage down there. And that is a blow to Riverview because Campbell may well be the fastest guy on the team, and if they wanted to throw deep or try to make something happen, he would be a guy they'd want on the field because of that speed. He apparently is okay. He's up on his own.
Well, one guy they do have on the field is Luke Benzie, and we've heard so many compliments about his athletic ability to pass the ball as well. Even though the passing game is not featured, they're going to have to do something now dramatic.
Benzie rolling to his left, throws the ball incomplete. It's short hop to wide receiver Chris Ferretti on the left sideline.
Ferretti with about a 9-yard out route, and the ball just skipped to him. Benzie on the rollout to his left, just a little bit short on the delivery. Just skips a bit before it gets to Ferretti.
Luke Bensley is wanted by virtually every major school in America for his athletic ability and his strong throwing arm. Now he's going to try to rally the troops, but they are not a throwing team. Go with the draw play on 2nd and 10. That's hard to figure, and Bain gains nothing. 1:28 clock running, 3rd down and 10. Brazell making his 3rd tackle.
Steve Brazell, number 54. Tackling Sean Bain near the line.
On 3rd down, Bensley has nobody open. He's in trouble, still running and sacked. Back at the 20-yard line. Riverview will use its final timeout with 1 minute left in the game.
Adrian Wolf on the tackle, on the sack. Chases down Bensley from the backside. Watch Wolf hustle from the backside. Bensley rolling away from him. But Wolf breaks away from his blocker. Bensley had time, but that Choctaw Indian defense had all his receivers covered. He has to eat the ball, and now they're looking at 4th and
16.
16 and defeat, staring it right in the face.
Not only do they have a 4th and 16 back at their 20, even if they get it, Jim, they are now out of timeouts. They had to use their first on their 4th down play on offense earlier this quarter. They used their 2nd timeout to stop Choctawhatchee from taking the timeout, and there they just used timeout number 3. So Luke Bensley talks it over with head coach John Sprague. Sprague 81 and 28 at Sarasota Riverview. He's the head man, and he's trying to figure out how he's going to get 17 yards or more out of this next play, and then he's got to figure out how to go the rest of the length of the field in less than a minute with no timeouts.
These same Riverview Rams were in the state championship finals in 1988, losing to Pensacola Pine Forest.
See what they do on 4th down. Bensley over the middle, incomplete. Tried to squeeze it into a receiver who was triple covered, and there was no chance, and all Choctawhatchee do has to snap it twice, and this game is over.
Tried to get it into Ian Schroeder, number 26, but the ball was poorly thrown, and Schroeder had no chance at all.
They're celebrating in Fort Walton Beach. They're all watching on Warner Cable, and we hope you've enjoyed it on Sports Channel up in the Panhandle. Your fellas are coming home with a state title unless they botch a snap. Luke Bensley heads to the sideline for Sarasota Riverview. His future appears to be bright. But right now, it's the Choctaw show. Little frustration there as one of the Riverview players are now pushing and throwing fists. That is an ugly sight, a terrible display. And that guy will get bounced out of the game. That is the player who was injured earlier. Gerald Browning and his coaching staff is disgusted with him. They're dragging him off the field before the officials throw him out. He'll learn. He'll grow up. And he will watch these tapes and regret that action there. You can't just dodge the ball from a quarterback who has already downed it.
There we see the quarterback is simply going to take a knee.
He's really the only one. Nobody else is doing anything for the Riverview team. They're calling a dead ball, a personal foul, and then I think they're tacking an unsportsmanlike conduct foul onto that, moving the ball down to the 11-yard line. 50 seconds to go.
Unsportsmanlike conduct against the white team and ejection of the player.
50 seconds left. Now they'll have to snap it perhaps 2 more times.
And once again, Peters will simply take a knee.
I believe the officials talking it over among themselves over as to who was thrown out of the game. Obviously, it had to be Browning. He was the guy who his coaches were dragging off the field. Riverview players go diving in, and that time somebody landed on the quarterback's foot. Guys, the game's over. Steve Farr that time landed right on the foot of Choctawhatchee quarterback Jeff Peters, and that could have hurt. They have to snap it one more time, and then the Indians of Fort Walton Beach Choctawhatchee will be the state champion. Down he goes again. Some more unnecessary pushing and shoving at the end of the play, but it doesn't matter. The state title is going back out to the Panhandle where it has been so many times. Fort Walton Beach Choctawhatchee and Coach Lionel Fayard, the Class 5A football champion. Let's watch them celebrate. John Sprague and Lionel Fayard exchanging pleasantries. They had a little debate prior to this game because Riverview scouted Choctawhatchee's game in the semis and in the quarterfinals. Choctawhatchee didn't scout Riverview, so Coach Sprague decided, well, why would I want a SWAT game filmed with those guys?
I tell you, both those coaches are a credit to the high school football in the state of Florida. Lionel Fayard from the champion Choctaw Indians and John Sprague from Sarasota, Riverview, the Rams. Both of them a credit to high school football programs in the state of Florida and certainly to their schools and to their community.
Great effort by Choctawhatchee. A couple of players I want to touch on as they celebrate their title. Chris LeBaire, the linebacker, had an outstanding ball game with 14 tackles. He forced that big fumble when he stripped Luke Benchie of the ball, setting up the late first half field goal that made it a 7-6 ball game. And the coach's son, there's a lot of pressure when you're the coach's son. Lionel Fayard Jr. performed admirably all day long, offensively and defensively for Choctawhatchee. We'll be back to wrap it up at Daytona Beach, but first this break. Congratulations to the Indians of Choctawhatchee. They're the state champs. It was a long bus ride from Fort Walton Beach to Daytona Beach for the Choctawhatchee Indians to get ready for the state 5A championship game, but it's going to be a great ride back as Choctawhatchee goes home as the state champions. Welcome back to Daytona Beach. Larry Vitale along with Jim Yarbrough. And Jim, the offense has played well, but great defensive effort on both sides, making every yard a painful, time-consuming process.
And there were some key turnovers that led to points, and those turnovers were the result of excellent defense. But Larry, both these teams have a lot to be proud of, both the schools and the communities. This was a great state championship ball game.
Well, we talked on it just a moment ago, but Lionel Fayard was 25-25 at Choctawhatchee coming into this year, and he hadn't really won over the home folks. I believe he could run for mayor of Fort Walton Beach right now.
Well, he won me over talking to him before this ball game. He's a class individual, and he's the kind of guy I'd be proud to have my son play for. And his son, what a job he did, Lionel Fayard Jr.
And for the guys from Sarasota Riverview, this is a heartbreaking time. You dream of the state title. They have nothing to be ashamed of. Great effort throughout the game.
Well, I had the pleasure of seeing the Rams play in 1988, and head coach John Sprague has led them to two state championship battles. Unfortunately, they weren't able to win, but this Ram program has drawn tremendous recognition from around the state of Florida, and Coach John Sprague is responsible.
Florida high school football has the reputation for being great high school football in these championship games, and again tonight we saw really high-quality football.
Well, it doesn't get any better, and the kids are big and fast, and they're well coached, and it's a real privilege for us to be here and telecast this ball game. Both teams, again, Larry, did an outstanding job tonight.
Well, Jim, a pleasure working with you and our entire crew, as it always is, and hail to the victors. Congratulations to the Indians from Fort Walton Beach, Choctawhatchee. They had a tough chore. They had to come in here against Sarasota Riverview. They had the longest ride, but they had 36 cheerleaders. They had the coach's son, and they had a very fired-up ball club, and as a result, they have won the state 5A championship in a great ball game here at Daytona Beach Municipal Stadium. Be sure to join us on Christmas Day for an encore presentation of the Class 3A and 5A football championship games. The 3A title game will be at 7 o'clock in the evening. The 5A title game to follow at 7:30. I'm Larry Vattel saying so long for Jim Yarbrough and our entire crew. Again, the final score, Choctawhatchee 13, Riverview 10. The state title goes back to Fort Walton Beach. So long.